what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson, and with me across the table, the podcasting table, is Chris Fry. Chris, we are with the Foot Candle Film Society, the annual Foot Candle Film Festival.
Yes.
And here we are on Foot Candle Films, the podcast. So, how are you doing today? It's cold. It's cold day outside.
It is. Winter has arrived.
Yeah.
It is cold. I'm doing okay. Staying mostly indoors, watching movies, so that helps.
It's like my bones are cold. Like I'm inside a warm room, but I'm still cold from being outside. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's don't like it. Not a fan.
I mean, I don't like it, but we're in December. We're close to Christmas, so if it's not cold, I kind of feel like something's wrong.
It's true. I have to remember that our quote really cold season it keeps getting shorter and shorter every year, just like our really really hot season seems to get a little compressed as well. So anyway, I guess I can't complain. I just it's Monday morning. I got my coffee. I'm okay, but man, I don't like being cold.
Well,
So,
there's the whole thing. Like, if it's going to be cold, it might be nice to see a little snow just because it's pretty, you know. But now I was like, no, I don't want any snow either.
I'm good. I don't need snow. No snow. Okay, let's talk movies. This is what we do here at Foot Candle Films. We review some of the latest, newest movies that have come out. We also share some movie news, which today's news are going to be all about some trailers we're going to watch that have come out in the last week or so that we want to enjoy and see what we pull from those about the films that they're going to be promoting. And then Chris also has a recommendation for us at the end of the episode that we will look forward to hearing from him on that. But Chris, we do have a film to review first and foremost. We are going to be reviewing the newest film from writer-director Rian Johnson, part of his Knives Out series of mystery films. This one titled Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. That is the official title. I don't like that. Wake Up Dead Man is a good enough title.
Sure.
But yes, it is part of the Knives Out series of films. So we will be discussing that film here in just a moment with our review. So Chris, I think we've got plenty to get into, as always. You ready for us to discuss our main review?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
You're the only one on stage with the Monsignor at the time of his killing. You're the only one at that church who hated his guts.
The spirit really moved him today, huh?
So tell me, what the hell happened?
Everyone thinks I did it. I didn't do it.
This goes way beyond normal police work. This is something even I have not experienced. A perfectly impossible crime.
This case is solvable, right?
I'm incapable of not solving a crime. Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
So Wake Up Dead Man does make the third installment in the Knives Out series that Rian Johnson's done. He's the director of Brick, Looper, and I think one of the better Star Wars films.
And I am agreeing with you.
The Last Jedi.
Yes.
But
we're
not here to debate that.
I don't know if we're in the majority or minority on that. I don't
Right.
know. I don't want to start a whole debate, but
Sure.
yes, I'm with you on it though.
But lately, the thing that he's been most vested in is this, other than the series Poker Face, which he did for Peacock, but, movie-wise, he has been doing these Knives Out mysteries. This is the third. We had the one that came out in 1999, which is just simply Knives Out. Then we had Glass Onion, and now we have Wake Up Dead Man. The only character that is consistent in these is the character played by Daniel Craig, who's the detective Benoit Blanc. Other than that, you get a rotating cast of characters. This time we have people such as Glenn Close, Josh O'Connor, Josh Brolin, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott. Yeah, Kaylee Spaney, Thomas Hayden Church, Jeffrey Wright. Okay, I'll just stop there. But big cast, a lot of faces. This, whenever it comes to the end of year awards, I always want to see, like, especially North Carolina Critics, the one you and I vote in. I always feel like if there's been a Knives Out film, that's a lock for me to at least try to nominate it for Best Ensemble, because I feel like they always have really good ensemble casts.
Yes.
So, probably, what was your, I guess, to kick off the discussion, Alan, what was your experience with this film, but specifically, where do you feel like, I guess, with this being the third, where do you feel like it falls as far as the ranking of, we got 3 films, so which do you like the best? Do you feel like this falls short of the others, or, just let me know your opinion here.
Well, let's go back in a flashback machine just for a moment to, I forget what year it was that the original Knives Out came out.
I think it was 1999, right before the pandemic.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I'll check that.
1999?
Sorry, that would be 2019.
Okay, I was
it
gonna
is
say,
2019.
wow.
So not
He's
that
been
far
doing this
back.
a long time. Okay.
No, 2019.
Yes, 2019.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to that time.
Okay.
I was so excited about Knives Out because I grew up, I love mystery. I love murder mysteries. I love Agatha Christie books. I like the Hercule Poirot. I liked even Alfred Hitchcock. It had a series of mystery books, and a lot of his TV shows and mysteries kind of based on that, or movies based on that as well. I love the format. So when I heard Rian Johnson was going to do murder mystery movie, Knives Out, where there was actually going to be a mystery, there was actually going to be a investigation and a revelation at the end of what. I was so excited. I was a little let down with the original Knives Out because Rian Johnson, as he is apt to do, kind of played with the format a little bit. And so I didn't get what I was expecting. And that was a bit disappointing for me. In hindsight, it was a good, clever movie. I was not in the right mindset to appreciate it at the time.
And you did get to see it in the theater, because
I did
that's
see
where
it in
it
the
was
theater.
released.
That's
was in
right.
the theater,
Yes.
right?
I saw Glass Onion, and I think at the time I felt Glass Onion I enjoyed a little better than Knives Out, only because I kind of had bought into, all right, I know what the deal is. I know how this film's going to work. So I'm just going to enjoy it. And I think I enjoyed it a bit more because of that.
Because we reviewed both here on the show, I feel like that's my memory of it as well. Is that,
Okay.
Yeah. And that was in 2022,
Okay.
was Glass Onion.
So here we are, Wake Up Dead Man, the third one. I'll admit, I was not at all interested, excited in seeing this. Just because I'm like, okay, it's just going to be another round of this movie. I don't know. I kind of already was expecting what I was going to get, so I didn't have the highest expectations for it. But I will say, this is my favorite of the 3. This is actually one of my favorite movies of this year so far.
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed Wake Up Dead Man. And I think it's because I didn't look at it from the mystery perspective. I didn't try to appreciate it from the mystery. I appreciated it for everything around the mystery, which I think was better in this film. The environment, the setting, the cast of characters, the overall tone and vibe of the film, I think is a lot more what I wanted, which is good. The film has some real weight to it, which I don't know if I really felt with the first two. Both of them were about rich people that, kind of backstabbing each other and trying to figure out who murdered somebody.
Right.
This one, there's a much deeper story going on. There's a much deeper thing. And I think the characters that are rolled out, and I'm going to call out,
Sure.
Not saying it from an acting perspective, I'm more the characters are fascinating to me. Jefferson Wicks, Monsieur Jefferson Wicks, the priest, the pastor of this little church that we spend time in, I found to be a really fascinating character that I was really intrigued by. Honestly, all the characters I had some intrigue with. I really found all of them compelling and interesting. But before I toss it over to you, Chris, I'm just going to say Josh O'Connor is our lead character in the film, playing Judd Duplessis. I think I'm saying that right. I don't ever hear his last name in the film, but I saw it like on a nameplate. And
maybe the other actor's like, how do you want us to say this? It's like, just don't call him that. Just call him Father Judd.
Father Judd.
Yeah,
Father Judd is what it is.
Like, okay. Yeah.
Father Judd, Josh O'Connell.
Yeah.
I think this is what made this film better for me, and I appreciate it so much more, because we follow him from minute one. This is about him and his journey through this whole process. And I found him to be a really interesting character. I think Josh O'Connor was really good performing him as well. And he was an anchor to hold on to. Benoit Blanc, yes, he comes in, he's the detective, he's kind of the big flashy expressionist guy. But he's more there as kind of help move the story along, where Josh O'Connor's Father Judd, I just found to be a really interesting character. So I enjoyed my time with him, and the fact that we are following him through this story, it is his words that are guiding the story, even from the very beginning.
Right.
It's that's what worked for me. I don't recall that being the case with the first two Knives Out movies, where we kind of had somebody that we really just kind of were able to latch onto and learn and spend time with the entire movie. I think maybe in the first Knives Out, it was the young
Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas' character. We got a little bit of that, but I still felt like we were a bit disconnected from her. With Father Judd, I didn't feel disconnected. I'm like, no, we're right there with him, and that worked for me. That made the film, I think, elevate for me more than maybe the previous two. So, plus it looked beautiful. The settings were great. The church itself that some of these scenes happened was just amazing.
You like the rafters.
Oh yeah. It was
just like Benoit Blanc.
Right,
does.
yes,
Yeah, he appreciates the rafters.
It's just everything worked for me on this. I do have some things that kept it from being a perfect film I can get into, but nothing that I'm going to say is a major distraction for me. So anyway, Chris, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of Wake Up Dead Man?
So opposite from you, when I heard that they were doing a new Knives Out film, I did like the first two quite a bit. And yeah, I do want Rian Johnson. I'd love for him to do something else, not in a series. But,
Sure.
This is original to him. He is writing it. He is directing it. And I'm like, well, this is what he wants to do. I'm excited about it. And I saw the cast and I was excited about it. Similar to you, I was looking forward to it being a little bit different from the first two films, because the first two were, not that this one doesn't deal with class and status, but it's just kind of a different feel. It's not as, I don't know, the characters felt maybe less cartoonish, maybe.
Yeah, I could see
than
some
maybe
of that.
some of the ones in the other two films. But it was just kind of it felt like it was going to be a different film, and I think it did succeed in that. I am with you that this is it's definitely my favorite of the three Knives Out films, and it is also probably in the running for one of my top films of the year.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the new thing that was brought into this. Yes, there is some class, there's some political commentary, but what was kind of interesting was it dealt with faith. And that was something new to the franchise. And, it was kind of refreshing, and people kind of questioning the main person, Josh O'Connor, who plays Father Judd. A lot of people are big fans of his. A lot of people were big fans of his in Challengers. I thought he was good in that, but for me, I was like, whoa, okay. Because like you said, he's like the main focus. You follow him throughout the whole film, and he really won me over as, okay, I really like this character and I really like his portrayal of it. I'll also say his kind of adversary that he's up against, Monsieur Jefferson Wicks, played by Josh Brolin. I think this is probably one of my favorite things Josh Brolin's ever done.
He's really good.
And granted, it is a very meaty role. He has to go very big as this guy who's, making all these pronouncements and has this congregation under his thumb. But man, I just really enjoyed it. There's some confession scenes where he goes toe to toe with, and it's just like,
great.
you think it's going one place. It's like, oh, these priests are sharing a moment. They're coming to know each other. They're doing confession. But then you hear some dialogue going on in Father Judd's head, and he's like, yeah, that was the first punch this guy threw. He's just like, and it would just, that kind of sets the tone for the film. And then like every time he talks, you're just wondering what's going on in Jefferson Wicks's head, and just, just really fascinating. And I'll say Daniel Craig doing Benoit Blanc, maybe some of the most interesting stuff going on with him as well, because instead of just playing a fellow who, as the detective, he's kind of got it all figured out. He kind of, smartest guy in the room, which, he's still really smart here, still is helping things figure out. But at several points, he's kind of like, these are all things that are happening they're fitting together, but I have no idea
Right.
what this means. Like he
Yeah.
kind of just openly, so, Father Judd's having crisis of faith. Benoit Blanc is kind of having crisis of logic. He's like, I don't, so it's like both men are struggling. They're trying to help each other out, but they're both struggling. And that was, I don't know. I really,
Yeah.
really liked it. So
I'm completely with you. I will say too that Ryan Johnson, I like the look of his films in general.
okay.
I couldn't really point out anything with you in the first two Knives Out movies that I thought were like visually and like really interestingly directed and shot and made in the film. I don't really remember that. All I remember are characters and script.
Gotcha.
This one though, there's some moments and some scenes and shots that are just like, whoa, okay, that's really cool. There's a whole sequence of a story being told about a woman. I believe her name is Grace in the film, and tearing apart a church.
Yes.
And it's just, the way it was shot, and it was just so visually really, really interesting to watch and see. There's visual images of a groundskeeper with a lantern in backgrounds of shots that are just really, really well done. The film has some good creepiness to it, which I think is also something I felt was missing from the previous mysteries.
Yeah,
It's
not
like
necessarily scary, but like creepiness, odd. Yeah.
Just some real creepy tones to it, which I appreciated as well, really helped me enjoy the film more also. I think visually it really stepped up its game, where I just felt like it was not only really interesting words to be hearing, but also the things to be seeing on screen were also really, really good. I like so much of it. I got to call out one scene for you though, Chris.
Okay.
And I don't know if it hit you the same way it did me, but I think I was enjoying the film, but when it got to this moment, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm completely on board with this.
Okay, I have a scene in mind. I don't know if it's the same one.
right,
I
well,
kind
we'll
of
see.
hope it's not, because I want to hear yours and
Yeah.
appreciate it, and then I want to talk about
There's a
okay.
moment where Benoit Blanc and Father Judd are frantically trying to find out a piece of information.
It's the same.
Is the same.
It's okay.
Finding out a piece of information that's kind of critical to their case, trying to decide to figure out who murdered somebody in this film, and it's interrupted over the phone
Yep.
by someone they're talking to. Father Judd is talking to, who kind of needs him to be a priest
Yes.
again for a moment, and the way that was constructed, I mean, man, it hit me, because it's all of a sudden, it's almost like we, the viewers, are just like, yeah, okay, all this whole who murdered somebody and where this maybe fortune that we're trying to figure out, like another mystery going on, all this is like consuming us, but yet somebody needs Father Judd.
It's like step
And-
outside the mystery.
And we
step
remember
outside
that Father Judd is a good character.
Right.
And he gets reminded of that as well. It's almost like he has this realization at that moment. It's like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm getting so caught up on this other stuff. I've got to stop and deal with this. And it's like, it was just so well done. It actually kind of got me a little misty-eyed. It's like, it was just really, really well done. And that to me elevated this film above it. It's like even the film's acknowledging that, yeah, there's a mystery going on.
Right.
And yeah, there's a murder and there's all these juicy stuff to deal with. But at the end of the day, this is a movie about people needing faith and needing help and also needing the support network that a really good church community can provide, or people of faith can provide. So anyway, it sounds like we had the same scene. And,
that surprised me. So with these films, this being the third one, I was enjoying it, and it was different enough. But then that scene alone was like, okay, this is definitely something new, and kind of a really touching moment. And you're just like, okay, yeah, that kind of elevates everything. And
Absolutely,
that
it does.
Definitely
Absolutely
did so,
does.
in my opinion. I will say some of the, and maybe it's because everything was working, things were, different for me, so I didn't feel like I was watching the same film. But moments of humor in this film really worked for me.
We're so good.
There's a reference to Star Wars films, which is kind of a winking reference.
There's even a reference to Netflix.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a
Which I
there's a
think is
reference
funny.
to Netflix. There's a reference to Star Wars where somebody is saying something. And it's kind of like, I don't really think that's what that film is saying. But, it's interesting because there are little things there's a Phantom of the Opera reference, which I also really enjoyed. So there's a lot of little moments of humor, but it doesn't in any way take away from the film.
And I got to say, most of it comes from me anyway, most of it came from Father Judd. Mm-hmm. And it's not that he's a comical character. It's just he's very earnest and he's a little more aware of what's happening around him. So he's making comments and he's saying things that are just like, yeah, that's what a normal human being would be saying in this situation. And it just made him really human, but it was also very funny. So
and I think too, because his role is to be a listener, mm-hmm. and you see him listening, and here again, impressed with Josh O'Connor, because the expressions on his face are, he's like, not really.
Right, yeah.
But because he is trying to be a comforting person or a listening person, mm-hmm. he doesn't say anything. He doesn't continue the joke. He just kind of has maybe a little bit of a head tilt, or you see a twitch in his eye. It's like, yeah, that's not that's not right. And that made it funny for me.
And I will still not laugh about the idea of is it robot knives or robot something? Anyway, just right. It was kind of this ongoing theme of a theory of what could have happened causing the murder in this film, and it was it's funny. So it was just the movie had, for it to be a heavier toned film dealing with heavier subject matter, it had more humor in it than I know the other Knives Out movies had humor, but this one just it worked for me. So,
and maybe it could have been too, like we've kind of touched on. Humor in the first film had to do with how these people were really rich and snobbish. In the second film, kind of that same type
idea.
thing. So, not that it wasn't there, but you just kind of say like, I've kind of seen this before. This was just done in a different way, so it was more refreshing and kind of jumped to our mind. I'll say Glenn Close's character, she plays mm-hmm. Martha. Oh yeah, okay. Something as simple as we first are introduced to Martha, she kind of jumps out in a way.
Yes.
And that's repeated one. And it's just kind of like, it's a trope from like old movies where somebody just spookily appears, mm-hmm. but it's not overdone. I think it's only done twice, but man, is it just awesome.
Well, and the reactions by both performers are just, it was perfect on it. And
right.
Glenn Close has another great reaction. I'll just say when the Kaylee Spaney's character late in the film, does something
right.
unexpected to Martha, and Martha's reaction, and just it's great. So it was really good. Yeah, no, I just had a blast with it. Like I will say,
you had some misgivings.
Well, look,
sure.
Looking at it from a bird's eye view, I mean, and again, I'll do this without spoiling, but the mechanics of the actual solution to the mystery. Mm-hmm. Pretty darn elaborate. And I
kind of expect
I know, but I'm also thinking with the film being in this church community with this small group of people, kind of it's a little hard for me to assume that the people involved, and again keeping it broad, were able to construct such an elaborate
we're able
plot.
To carry it off.
It seemed a little far-fetched, but you're right. I'm not going
in the first Knives Out. I agree. The first night it didn't bother me, but if this had been the first film, you'd be like, "Whoa, this is really
right." We're building up a history.
I've come to expect it. So
honestly, I look at the problems I may have with this film are just problems with the mystery format of we're going to talk about, investigate, talk about, investigate, and now the big unveiling, and the unveiling brings out a lot of new information that you didn't have throughout the film, but now it's all being kind of thrown at you, and the whole resolution is talked about through a speech. I get it. That's not something Rian Johnson invented for these films. That is a format that has been for decades, for generations.
Right.
It just, that's the way it works when you do a murder mystery type of story. It doesn't matter if it's the movie Clue or, anything else. It's like the same idea.
Sure.
You learn all this information during the big unveiling, and it's like, then when you hear it, you're like, oh, okay, now that I see all that, sure, I get it. But there's no way I could have figured this out without some information they withheld to the end.
Right.
But again, I'm not going to blame Rian Johnson or this movie for that. I've kind of given up on that. It is what it is. I get frustrated by it at times, but the good thing about this movie is that it had everything else around the mystery worked so good for me that I was fine to go with it when the unveiling came about and all the explanations and all. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that's just kind of part of the way he's doing it. And
it's
I think
part of the formula.
And I
get
remember
it.
flashing back to the first Knives Out. I liked it, but what held me back was that I was a little frustrated that there was no way I could possibly figure it out. But having since watched that film, Kenneth Branagh did Murder on the Nile. He did Death in Venice, and he did the first one, which
Murder
was
on the Orient Express.
Yeah. So he's done those. And after watching those, which are Agatha Christie, I'm like, no, that's totally how this thing works.
No, it is. It is totally the format.
So, like,
yeah.
I can excuse. I'll say what also made this film unique for me, and I appreciated, was you talked about, which, it still follows the formula, but at the end, instead of Blanc kind of laying everything out and being like, okay, and we're done, there's a little bit of a twist on that.
There is. You're right.
Which he makes a conscious choice to do. And you're like, interesting. And that kind of how that all came together, that also elevated the film.
Well, and the fact
me.
that this film actually has like 2 or 3 mysteries kind of layered into each other, which also helped a little bit too.
True.
So I didn't feel like I had to spend so much time as a viewer theorizing about this one mystery because like, oh, you're throwing another one at me too. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go for the ride and see how you piece all these together. And that worked. I think that was all really good. And you just said something that made me think about something else. And now I just completely spaced out and forgot what that was.
I'll say that I was twice in the film. I won't say, that Blanc didn't commit the murder. He's the detective. Okay. And
But that would have been a twist.
Sorry, don't mean to ruin that for you. There's also Chief Geraldine Scott, played by Mila Kunis. They're the one, so she's the police person, he's the detective. Outside of that, I don't remember really having so many people that at any point in the other films, I felt like, oh, no, they did it. And I was surprised at how suspicion really seemed to be spread around pretty equally. So that kind of impressed me.
So there was one scene also in this film that I don't recall really getting a similar scene in other Knives Out movies. And I think this did help because it did make me feel like the film was really trying to involve us, the viewers, in the mystery.
Okay.
It has to do with a photograph in a bar. And there's a moment where it's holding the photograph up, and then holding it down and like comparing real life to this photograph.
Right.
And it did a really good job in that it misdirected us, the viewers, to things just like it should. And we all did exactly like what the other characters in that scene did and fixated on something we thought was different, but we missed something else. Right. And when going back and showing us that later in the film, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I did. I, as the viewer, missed that just like they did. So that was the one scene where I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of being brought into this. I can actually do a little investigative work watching this film as well. I would always love more moments like that, more moments where like we could actually try to figure it out and say, oh, I just noticed something, and I think that may tell us this happened. And I think there's probably moments in there where we are, maybe on a second viewing, I would see more things that would tip off some stuff. But that scene in particular, I'm like, I appreciated that because I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm being put in the investigator's shoes, which is, as a viewer, kind of where I've wanted to be in these movies all along. Okay. And that scene did help do that a little bit. So I appreciated that. So,
and the way that was shot with like the camera showing the photos, showing the scene, it was fun from a visual perspective, but also from a story perspective.
And that's another one of those visual flourishes. I think the movie just kind of elevated its visual game a little bit in this movie with that. And again, that the actual church building itself, the location of the murder, it's inside that church. Right. Yeah, just fascinating little sets and little areas and places to work with. So it was just very fun to watch, from that end. So
agreed.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on this movie. Actually, I am now actually more excited about Rian Johnson doing another one. Honestly, because it's like, all right, if he was able to kind of mix it up enough from these first two now to this third one, I'm like, all right, well, if he can keep throwing us these little curveballs and settings and environment and weave in some different themes with it, it could be really fun. And
in a way, what also helps is you got a little bit more of, not a lot, but a little bit more of Blanc's background, kind of talking about
Yeah.
his mom and kind of like some stuff. And you can tell it made him a more full character rather than just
Yes.
a know-it-all detective. So that
Agreed.
was
Yeah, no, I think this is. I appreciated his character more in this movie than I had the previous ones. The previous ones, he was a little more cookie cutter character. Here, I actually felt like he was more of a fleshed out human being, interesting human being.
right.
That I kind of now want to even know more about his background than I did before.
Sure.
Before it's like, no, he just kind of drifts into the film, does his thing, and then drifts out. And now it's like, no, I kind of want to know this guy even more. So I hope each eventual film rolls out a little bit more about his backstory, just because I think it's interesting. So,
Yeah, I would agree.
I say kudos to Rian Johnson. He pulled off something I didn't think was going to happen, which is he's made 3 similar formatted murder mysteries in a row with a consistent character. He's basically become his own Agatha Christie and
Right.
in doing this. And he made his 3rd one interesting enough that it stands apart for me, and I think is a really good film, even despite its format and linkage to the previous 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, I still hold out that maybe he'll do something that's,
True. No,
because he is.
sure.
I do like his work. I'd like to see him do like a standalone thing. But I get it. Knives Out are successful, so
A film, honestly, after watching this and I was reading up just more filmography of Rian Johnson, because I was just trying to recall all the films he's done and my takes on all of them in the past.
sure.
The one film this is actually caused me to go back and want to go watch again is Looper,
Okay,
because I remember seeing Looper once. And
we reviewed it on the show.
Yeah, and it partially worked for me, but I also had some distance with it. Some things just didn't connect with me as much. But I've read a lot of, I don't know if it's hit some sort of anniversary as far as how many years ago it was.
Maybe.
Anyway, I've read some more essays online lately about Looper and how well constructed it is, and a really great sci-fi movie. I need to go back and give it another shot, because I'm a really big fan of Brick. I'm a really big fan of the Brothers Bloom. I know those films really, really well. Of course, we talked about the Star Wars film.
Right.
What did he do? And then Looper is one that I just felt a little disconnected from, that I need to go back and try again. And I think, is that pretty much all of his films?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, it was. Well, outside of the Poker Face, you mentioned the TV show,
TV
obviously.
show,
But
right.
before the Star Wars movie, he did Looper. But before Looper, he did Brothers Bloom, and Brick was his first one. So yeah, I think that's it. So Looper's the only one of his films I'm just like, I need to
revisit it.
give it a shot.
Sure.
Anyway, all right. Well, that is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. It is playing on Netflix. It was playing in some theaters for a short little bit of time, but Netflix is pretty much where it lives, and that's where it is. So I will say I guess, good thing about Netflix is it's going to be there. So
Right.
you don't have to worry about rushing out to try to catch it somewhere.
Sure.
It's going to be there for a really probably good long time. So, all right. Chris, well, let's take a quick little break, as we always do. And when we come back, we've got some trailers to watch, as well as to hear your recommendation at the end of the episode. Stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Hello, welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our review of the latest Knives Out film, Wake Up Dead Man, in the first half of the show, both giving very, very good, positive, glowing reviews of that film. Let's turn our attention to films that we have not seen yet, but we've only seen little glimpses, as we call them, trailers,
Yes.
of these films. So we're going to watch 3 trailers of films coming out in the coming months. And I'll tell you just a little bit about each one before we watch the trailer. But again, I want the trailer to speak for itself, and then we'll kind of digest it and give our quick thoughts afterwards on that. First up, and this is one you brought to my attention, Chris. I have not seen it yet. Have you seen this trailer?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Nope.
So we're both watching it for the first time.
Yes.
It is the trailer for the film Mother Mary, which is an A24 production coming out spring 2026. The director is David Lowery, which the last film he did was Pop Quiz, Chris. What was the last film David Lowery did?
I think it was actually Peter and Wendy, but before that it was Green Knight.
The Green Knight. Yes,
right.
the
That's
Green
the
Knight.
last one we discussed.
The
on
last
the show.
one we discussed.
Right, was Green Knight.
The Green Knight. I was a big fan of that film, but early on, David Lowery did.
Did Pete's Dragon,
He did the Pete's Dragon remake, which I thought was interesting.
and he did Ghost Story.
Right, Ghost Story. But what was, or even earlier than that? What was the film that kind of got him put on the map?
He did Old Man and the Gun, which we actually showed at Foot Candle.
Right.
Let's see. Consult the internet.
Maybe that was it. Okay, yeah, maybe it was it. The Old Man and the Gun was the first one. Okay, maybe we remember with Robert Redford.
Right.
Okay, maybe that was all I'm thinking about. And then he did the Pete's Dragon remake. He's done another, like you said, Peter Pan and Wendy, did a kind of a classic character reimagining
Right.
type film.
Which I did not see.
I did not either. Oh, Ain't Them Body Saints.
Okay.
Body Saints. That's the one I was thinking about back in 2013. That was the one I think kind of got him some attention
Sure.
for doing that. Ain't Them Body Saints, and then he did Pete's Dragon, then A Ghost Story, then The Old Man and the Gun, then The Green Knight, Peter Pan and Wendy, and now he's got this film. Okay, so all that to say, Mother Mary is the trailer we're going to watch. It stars Anne Hathaway, Hunter Schafer, Kaya Gerber, Jessica Brown Finley, and several others. I know nothing about this film, Chris. I don't know the subject matter. I don't know anything, so we're going to watch it just completely blind here. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, here we go. The trailer for Mother Mary.
I hadn't seen her in over 10 years. But I could tell she was coming from 1,000 miles away. Why don't you start with why you're here?
Sam, I need a dress.
So, you've come crawling back to me.
I didn't know where else to go.
So tell me, what do you see in your head?
Me.
Oh, yes, I remember. This is all about you. What song are you singing?
I'll play it for you if you want.
I don't want to break my streak
What?
of not listening to your music.
All right, that was the trailer for Mother Mary. Chris, thoughts?
Looks like a very interesting film. At first, I thought it was going to be something akin to Black Swan or A Star is Born, or just famous people going through it. But it looks like it has a lot of different stuff going on. There is a central relationship, looks like, between a dress designer played by, is that FKA Twigs or is that?
No, that would be Michaela Cole.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
FKA Twigs is in the film
Okay.
in another scene,
In
but
another
the
scene.
one that we saw is kind of the second lead
Sure.
of the film seems to be Michaela Cole.
Okay. So there's, she has a very interesting relationship with a singer played by Anne Hathaway. And there's just and it says at one point, this is not a ghost story. This is not, it
Not
has
a love
flashes
story.
some different things on
It's
the
a
screen.
prayer and a song. Yeah, a lot of. I think the trailer's trying very intentionally to throw us out of any preconceived notions of what this film's going to be.
Right.
So
Success.
Yep, it's great. I'm very intrigued, very excited.
Yeah, I think the
it looks
performances
good.
are obviously going to be there. The visuals look like they're going to be, which is something David Lowery his films are always visually interesting. I'll be curious to see it.
Same
Definitely
here.
looks different.
Spring 2026 is the release date for Mother Mary in theaters. So yeah, I am very curious. It's a great trailer in that it piqued my interest.
Sure.
It gave me just enough to know a little bit about the film, but I still have no idea where this thing is going. So great. Mission accomplished, trailer. Good job. Now I don't want to see anything more about it.
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move on to our second trailer. This one, I'm surprised you haven't seen this, but just because I think everybody in the internet has seen it. You know.
Has it played before a movie yet? Or
I don't think so. Okay. I think it just was released online like this past week. And
Got you.
So, it is the film Supergirl, which is in the DC universe, just like Superman was. It came out last year. From last year, it was from writer director James Gunn. This one is not directed by James Gunn, but he is kind of the head of the DC universe now, so he has his fingerprints all over it, I'm sure. This one is actually directed by...
See, I thought it was going to be directed by James Gunn, so it's interesting it's not.
It is directed by, and the name is on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
I cannot believe I'm forgetting this, because I knew it right before we hit the recorded button. Craig Gillespie. Craig Gillespie did I, Tonya.
Yeah.
He did the Pam and Tommy series on Hulu.
He did Cruella.
That's right. Yep.
Lars and the Real Girl.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, some good stuff. And so he is the director of Supergirl.
What's his most recent thing prior to after Cruella, after Lars and the Real Girl, after I, Tonya? There's something in between I, Tonya and this. I just can't remember. Maybe.
Hold on. I've got it.
Okay. Because I think it's going to be an interesting comparison.
Because I just looked it up recently as well.
It's going to be an interesting comparison piece to doing a DC comic book film.
He's done some TV episodes, The Better Sisters, Your Friends and Neighbors and all. But Dumb Money was the last movie you're thinking of.
Yes.
He did Dumb
Paul
Money
Dano.
in 2023.
Yeah.
He did.
And I liked it. Did we discuss Dumb Money on the show? Okay.
We did. He does done a lot of TV. Pam and Tommy.
Okay.
The series Physical. I did one episode. Then Cruella was the previous movie.
Okay.
I, Tonya. He did the movie The Finest Hours back in 2016. And $1 Million Arm, which I do remember. I actually kind of liked 2014.
Okay. I don't think I ever saw $1 Million Arm.
He actually did the Fright Night remake in 2011, which I never saw.
With
but
Colin
that was
Farrell. Okay.
Anyway. And Lars and the Real Girl. Mr. Woodcock was actually his first movie.
Oh, wow. Billy Bob Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Back in 2017, then Lars and the Real Girl.
Okay.
Anyway. So yes, all that to say, this is the trailer for Supergirl.
Okay.
Hold on. Did I just lose it? By doing my little investigative work, did I just...
Well, I'll stall a little bit while you're finding it.
Yeah.
I am curious because my understanding was, even though James Gunn's not directing it, like you say, he's kind of the guy behind the scenes that's putting everything together. It is going to have a lot of references, probably not directly, but maybe to Tom King's work that he did, a comic book run of Supergirl. And I really liked his run of Supergirl. It was very different. And so I'm looking forward to seeing something brought to the screen that comes from Tom King.
Absolutely correct. It's
He's
been
my favorite
pretty
writer.
Commonly said that yes, this is based so much on Tom King's work.
Okay.
Supergirl, World of Tomorrow or something was the subtitle name of that book or that run.
Something of Tomorrow. I can't remember, but yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at the trailer for Supergirl.
Okay.
First trailer. It's a little short. More. It's not a teaser, but it's.
That's the kind of stuff I like. There are more teasers than trailers.
This may be all you want to see with the film early on. But here we go.
Kara Zor-El. Hereby declare that 23 will be the best year yet. Let's be honest, babe, it's not a very high bar to clear.
I didn't know any of you were still alive. What was it like to lose everything in a day?
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind.
All right, Chris. So you're Woman of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is kind of, they're even promoting at the end of the trailer. That's like read where it all began. That's the series by Tom King that this is heavily based on. So given all that, Chris, and given your familiarity with the source material, what do you think of the trailer?
I'm happy, and yes, I don't want to see any other
Good
trailers.
We are done. No more.
I like the fact the Supergirl being a little bit of an alcoholic is something that does play into the graphic novel. She is troubled and kind of, as you know, she buries her trouble in alcohol. So that actually, and actually, Crypto. A lot of people I could see it was successful. Crypto was a successful part of the Superman film that James Gunn did, and they could be like, "Oh, you're just taking." You know, it's like the Mandalorian taking Grogu and smearing him everywhere. It's like, oh, you're just using it. No, Crypto was in the series by Tom King. So it's like, it's not just taking a character that was popular. No, he does play a part. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy. And it does look like, which sometimes is kind of surprising me when they take something, granted, it probably will be different in some ways, but take that series and like literally they're taking the story. So then it's like, if you've read it, you go and maybe you like it, but you're like, well, but I already kind of know everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It looks like it is literally that story as well, not just ideas, but the story. But it is. I liked it, so I'm curious. I'm excited.
Good. Well, that'll be coming out in June 2026. So this coming summertime, we will see Supergirl.
What did you think, Alan?
No, I think it looks. I think it looks good. I mean, yeah, Yes, I think it looks good.
Okay.
No, I'm always fearful when it's just a movie that's a lot of special effects, a lot of environments on green screen.
Sure.
Yeah, half the trailer was made up of that. I'm like, okay, I hope the movie's a little more than just let's have a few minutes of character development and then let's just have her punching and kicking and fighting and on weird worlds with alien creatures. I mean, again, I just want there to be more, and hopefully if they hew more to the story, there will be. But that's always my fear with any of these big action movies.
Sure.
Especially
superhero ones. With the graphic, it ended up being a graphic novel, but with the run that Tom King did, there is some underlying weight that hopefully that will come out.
I hope so too.
I will say, I am going to predict, because I feel like I haven't read any of the online reactions to the trailer, but I hope that this doesn't fall the same fate as Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman. But it seems like anytime we have a female-driven comic book film,
never underestimate internet hate.
Trolls are going to come out,
Chris.
and before this movie even has a chance, they're going to be like, "Oh, it's the worst film ever!" You know, like they had such a good start with Superman, and now they ruined it. I really hope that people just give.
I think for whatever reason, people, the impression I get is that people want James Gunn to succeed. I think they're willing to give James Gunn some rope.
Okay.
I feel like, as opposed to with Marvel, I think they had kind of the internet buzz had kind of run out of steam on Marvel. So it's like, okay, now we're kind of down on Marvel. So anything Marvel puts out, we're going to trash, especially with 3 female leads.
Because Captain Marvel, people try, and then people really hated the Marvels. Like you thought Captain marvel, the reaction to that, then
So I feel like Marvel maybe spent its goodwill with this audience. I don't think James Gunn has yet.
Okay.
He's only done one movie with DC and a couple other projects, but we'll see. I think they're a little more forgiving with him. Whatever reason, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I think that's where the internet, quote, the internet is right now. So
okay.
All right. Last trailer we'll see. This one I'll go and say I know of the director. I know of the types of films that have been made by this director.
Okay.
I have not seen either of the films that I'm familiar with this director has done. I know that you have.
Okay.
The director is, and boy, I gotta make sure I get the name right, Julia Ducournau.
Now, you saw Raw, didn't you?
Oh, did she do Raw?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, I did see that.
She did Raw. She did Titan.
I didn't see Titan.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking
Okay.
of. Okay, but I saw Raw. Okay, I didn't realize I saw that one. All right. Well, I'm 50% then on those two films.
There you go.
This is a new film by Julia called Alpha. It is a great upcoming body horror movie, which is probably
Alan's
part of the
favorite
reason I've not been quite as up on the films.
Sure.
This one's starring Melissa Boros, Tahar Rahim and Emma McKay, and is set to release in theaters in March. The little synopsis says, Alpha, a troubled 13-year-old, lives with her single mom. Their world collapses the day she returns from school with a tattoo on her arm. That is it.
Okay.
That is all we're going to go with on this. So let's watch the trailer for Alpha and see what we think about this.
My good hand, tattooed evil, cross his brother's fist. That filthy five did nothing to challenge or resist. In heaven his throne is made of gold, and the ark of his testament is stowed. A throne from which I'm told all history does unfold. Down here it's made of a wooden wire, and my body is on fire.
All right. Well, that was the trailer for Alpha. Apologies to everybody on the audio podcast listening to this, because I know all you heard was a song.
By Nick Cave.
By Nick Cave.
Yeah.
No dialogue in the trailer. So we're going to have to do a little bit of quick summation of kind of what we were seeing on the screen. As I mentioned, the synopsis, young girl, looks like the girl's name is Alpha, lives with her single mom, but the world collapses when she returns from school with a tattoo on her arm. And I think the film does give way to that, but there's obviously a much bigger thing going on that I'm not even quite prepared to like figure out what that is yet. So
right. I mean, it looks like if you imagine a coming of age film done by David Cronenberg, maybe you would slightly get in your head what this may be about.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Julia Ducournau, like, she is kind of the female David Cronenberg as far as like doing body horror, because Titan, man, like Raw had some body horror stuff, but then Titan like took it to a completely different level. This film does look like it's a little bit more grounded, with maybe it's the struggle of a mother letting go of her child and worrying about her child and what group she may be falling in with or something. Yeah, kind of hard to tell. The Nick Cave song, though, does give it a very ominous, foreboding feeling to both the trailer and I guess the film. So
yeah, I am very interested, curious, but also hesitant, only because, I mean, like, if they put the words body horror into the synopsis, one-line synopsis, I'm like, that's a tough sell for me. But,
sure.
You know, we'll see. Hopefully I can get there by the time it rolls around when it comes out in March. It looks like was the date for that, March 27th in theaters, 2026. All right. Well, that is the three trailers we wanted to go over. Mother Mary from A24, Supergirl from the DC universe, and then Alpha being released by Neon Pictures in March. So, all right. Of those three, Chris, which one are you the most excited for?
God, that's tough. Believe it or not, I mean, this is too much of a typical answer, but maybe a surprising answer for me, because usually comic book movies are not what I like come out and say I'm excited. It's Supergirl, but it's because of the Tom King.
Because
link,
the source material that it could be based on.
But I will say the other two definitely look interesting.
Definitely look interesting. I'm probably on board most with Mother Mary, just because I think that looks the most interesting right now to me, and I'm very curious about that film. So, you know.
Got you.
Okay, let's get to the final segment of our show here, Chris, which is your recommendation. Chris likes to regale us with a recommendation of a film that he recently caught up with. It's that time of year where we're both knee-deep in watching screeners, copies, and reviews, reviewing films, and preparing for our end of the year. So, Chris, I got a sinking feeling that your recommendation is going to be something you caught up with, buy a screener copy of something that maybe you wouldn't have seen naturally, but you have seen because you've got a screener copy of it, and now you are ready to recommend it. Am I right with that? Was my prediction right?
So you are. You're correct. I will say,
because I saw the recommendation listed on your notepad. So.
I have seen a lot of films that I would recommend, but nobody can watch them yet because they are either in limited release or something like that, or we're getting to see them slightly ahead of like Christmas Day when they may come out. So. And there's some I've seen a lot of really interesting documentaries, but can't recommend them because they're not. So, but as you said, this film, you can see it is still in some theaters. It'll be soon, maybe within 2 or 3 weeks, be coming out on Disney Plus. It is one of Disney's releases this year. It's Zootopia 2. In keeping with the sequel, we reviewed a sequel in the first part of the show. I'm going to recommend a sequel. Zootopia 2, obviously, is the follow-up to Zootopia.
Oh, is it?
It is. So you have Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. They're back, still working together as a team, and they are voiced by Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman. They're the fox and the rabbit that were in the first film. They're still detectives, and they're trying to solve a new case. What made the first Zootopia kind of fun was that, kind of like, I guess, a lot of Disney films and Pixar films and, a lot of animation, is they'll have little in-jokes for the adults that are watching this with their young children. So this Zootopia 2 very much does the same thing. It's has little in-jokes in it that are funny if you're an adult, but otherwise a kid just likes, thinks the colors are awesome and likes the, the general story. Just the general, it's kind of a mystery, actually, kind of following up with like Knives Out. This is also a mystery of what's going on here. There are some twists that happen that are, fun. So I think it's, especially with the holidays approaching, it's a fun kind of family film that you can see. And there were enough things in it that I liked watching it. I'm actually, if we had reviewed it on the show, I would have definitely given it a positive review, which is why I'm recommending it. But it's one that I feel like I should have caught up with anyway. It shouldn't have taken the end of the year for me to catch up with it. But I liked seeing there's a character, Gary DeSnake, who's voiced by Ki Hui Kwan, who, was in Everything Everywhere All at Once and, kind of has a little bit of a resurgence. It was good to see him be, have some work in a film where he'll, it was good to see that again because I like him as an actor. He seems to be a really nice dude. So it was cool to see him, in another film, or not see him, but hear him, I guess, in another film.
Nice.
So, that's Zootopia 2. In some theaters, they may keep it around in theaters through the holidays just because they want to have like a guaranteed film that families could go see if they want to.
Well,
but shortly thereafter, it'll probably be on Disney+.
Because we have, I still have sellout crowds for Zootopia 2.
So Zootopia 2 is also
our theater.
Families are responding to
still,
it. Okay,
still gonna be. I've seen enough bits and pieces of Zootopia 2, I can almost piece together the whole movie, but I have not actually sat for the entire time.
Have you seen the maze gag that references The Shining?
I have heard the maze gag because my office is currently underneath one of the balcony theaters. And every time that The Shining kind of references come up, I hear it and I know what's happening, but I've not seen it. So,
gotcha. Yeah, it's there again. It's like, even if you're not aware of that film, then you'll just think it's like, oh, okay, this is happening. But if you're aware of it, it just makes you chuckle. It's funny. There's a Hungry Hippos like visual gag that I also think is funny. There's a Patrick Warburton who played Putty on Seinfeld. He was in another one of my favorite films that I've recommended on the show, Emperor's New Groove. He voiced a character on that. Kronk, I think was his name in that Disney film. He plays voices a character that's a mayor in this. I can't remember if he was in the first one or not, but he's a prominent character in this one. And it's just so fun. Yeah. I mean, yes, it maybe is stereotypical for Patrick Warburton playing kind of or voicing an airheaded kind of character who seems self-important.
But he does it so well.
But it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And it's just it's enjoyable. So Zootopia 2. That's what I recommend.
Good. Zootopia 2. Yeah, I think... Is the release plan for that they're sending it to Disney Plus pretty quickly afterwards?
It came out, I think it came out right before Thanksgiving. Is that right? So it's been in, so I would assume I mean, I guess if maybe it's still doing really well in theaters, maybe they'll just wait until the theater.
It's saying right now expected maybe February, March.
Okay, so they are going to hold. Well, and that's with Oscars coming out, it'll probably get nominated. So then,
Disney typically is 3 to 4 months after it finishes at the cinema, it goes to their streaming network, and it's still playing, and it's still in the top 3 or 4 movies in the nation, even 3 weeks in. So yeah, it's going to have a little more life in the theater.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Thing,
No, I all the families coming in to see Zootopia 2 have been enjoying it at my theater the last few weeks. So yes, we'll see that keep playing, I'm sure. Thank you for the recommendation. I think well deserved one. So, all right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for today. Thanks everybody for listening. We had our review of Wake Up Dead Man, positive review of that film. Will that film show up on our best of the year list? Maybe.
Possible.
We will see. We should be having our best of the year list coming out in the next couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. I think we got until the end of the year. We typically do our best of like right after the 31st. Like we don't do it before the 31st because there's a chance we may see something by the 31st that counts as 2025. So we need to make sure we get the full year in, but definitely right after the first of the year, we'll have a best of 2025 list.
If you had to say a film that you haven't seen yet, that you think stands a good chance of maybe topping, or not topping, but definitely being in the running of your top 5 or whatever, is there a film that you can think of? Because I can think of one that maybe you'll be like, oh yeah, that's probably it. That neither one of us has seen, but I'm anticipating, but I haven't seen it yet. I'll give you a hint. Mine is yours. Probably has to do with ping pong.
Yeah, it's Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. I am, I don't know.
Okay.
The Testament of Ann Lee is one I'm very curious about, but that will not be going in wide release by the end of the year. So unless we get a screener for it, it may be a tough time to see that because it actually comes out limited release on Christmas Day.
Okay.
So that's one I'm very interested in.
Same.
Not because I'm expecting it to be on any of my list, but I am looking forward to seeing Anaconda. Only because, again, I love meta comedy movies about making movies. It's just such a great premise.
And that's one that, like, does Jack Black or Paul Rudd need any more money? No.
Right.
But just because it seems like it could, it's one of those things that if they just work just a tiny bit on the script, it could actually be very satisfying, But because it's like it could just be dumb, which is fine, or it could be dumb but actually be kind of smart, kind of like Naked Gun. It's like Naked Gun is dumb, but it's dumb in a good way. So we'll see.
Yeah, but other than those, at least being ones I'm looking forward to seeing, I can't think of any others that are going to surprise me and be on my list. Or I could be surprised, but I've still got lots to watch.
So do I.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up then. Thanks everybody for listening to Foot Candle Films. Chris, if anybody wants to contact us and talk about anything we're discussing, how can they do that?
You can send an email to us at info@footcandle.org. You can leave us a voicemail via the contact page on the mesh.tv website. You can follow us on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter at Foot Candle Film. Al and I are also on Letterboxd, where we try to leave quick takes of what we're seeing or give star ratings. Do us a favor, speaking of star ratings, if you like the show, consider giving us a star rating, write a review, share with friends on whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on, because it'll help us reach new listeners, and we'd appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Foot Candle Films, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.